Hey everyone, Morgan here. Welcome back to the lab. So we're going to talk about your first at-home experiment, which you're going to be doing this weekend. You're not going to need any very specialized equipment, don't worry about that. Now what I'm going to do in this recording is talk you through what stuff from the kitchen you can use to do this experiment. So the first thing you're going to need is a container to hold some water. You have several different options. You can use a plastic cup. I like a nice clear one because you'll be able to see inside to watch what's going on. You can use a coffee cup. I have this coffee cup here, which is just like a beaker. It's nice because it's see-through. But anything along these lines is going to work. And don't worry, it's not going to be destroyed, so you'll be able to use it again. When we do this experiment at school, we just use plastic cups like this. We don't even break out any fancy glassware. You're going to need some water. You can get that out of the tap. Next thing you're going to need is what at school we call chromatography paper, which is just some very absorbent paper. Now around the house, you might have coffee filters. Now, coffee filters are very absorbent, kind of thick paper. I don't actually drink coffee. We picked these up at Target for like $1.50. You can probably get them at the 99-cent store, but I think there's a pretty good chance you already have coffee filters in the house. Now, if you don't want to use coffee filters, you can try paper towels. If you're going to use paper towels, make sure to use ones that are white and not the blue ones, because the blue ones will actually affect the outcome of this experiment. I do know some chemistry teachers who in a pinch have actually used toilet paper for this, okay? So any of those should work fine. Please avoid using something like notebook paper. That's not going to work, okay? Coffee filters, paper towels, or if necessary, toilet paper. The next thing you're going to need is a water-soluble marker. Now, at school, we like these. These are called overhead projector pens, or vis-a-vis markers. Okay, water-soluble markers. You see, these say wet erase. Okay. Growing up, I would have called these felt tip markers. Look in the art supplies you might have. Now these are also classic fine point felt tip markers that work well. What won't work well is a pencil. Can't use a pencil. And a ballpoint pen is not going to work very well for this either. I've never tried this with a highlighter, but that might be something fun for you to experiment with when you're done. Okay? Colors. I hope you can find one that's black. Black is the most important one for this experiment, and then a couple other colors of your choice, so you have a total of at least 3 would be good. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to cut a strip of whatever paper product it is you're using. This is the fancy filter paper we have at school, sometimes called chromatography paper. And I'm going to take a pair of scissors and cut it into a strip. And sizing really doesn't matter that much, okay? So whatever you happen to come up with, just like that, is good for what we're doing, okay? Now, when you have this cut, you're going to take your water-soluble marker and you're going to put one single dot. The positioning is kind of important. You want to put it about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch from the bottom of the strip. And we have to keep referring to this as the bottom. That's important. Okay? Now, when you have that single dot in there, it's going to be lowered into your cup. And in the bottom of the cup, you're going to put just a little bit of water. The water should go in first. You might need to do some kind of pre-measuring to know that you have the right amount of water. Too much water could be bad. So let's talk a little bit about that measurement. Let me keep it on this paper towel just so that you can see what's going on. You can take something like a chopstick. This is a barbecue stick. On this one, I just actually used a paper clip that I opened up, okay? Take something that you can put across the top of the cup, okay? And attach the strip to that. I used a little masking tape. You can use a little bit of Scotch tape. Any tape that you have, it really doesn't matter. And you're going to lower this with the dot end down. The dot end is what's going to go into the cup. Okay, that's going to be down at the bottom. That's important. Now, you want it so that the water touches the bottom of the paper, but does not get up as high as this dot. If it hits that dot, it's going to wash out and you're going to have to start all over again. So it goes in down like this. It touches the water. It can touch the bottom of the cup even, but don't let that water get up to the dot. You can kind of see that right there. I realize it's kind of hard of a contrast on the paper towel to see. Now what's going to happen? The water is going to rise up the paper over time. This might take 30 minutes. You can just let it sit undisturbed. Don't move the cup. Don't play with it. Don't let the dog knock it over. Now, as the water travels up the paper, it's going to carry the ink with it. And your ink is a mixture. And it is going to separate that mixture out. Now, this was the red vis-a-vis marker I set up about 30 minutes ago. Took some time for it to spread out like that. We're not seeing a lot of different separation in there because red's one of your nice primary colors. It's a little darker down here, maybe a little lighter up there, okay? But when you get into something like the black ink, you're gonna see a very different outcome, okay? Now, when 30 minutes or so has elapsed, take it out, sit it down on a paper towel to let it dry. Resist the temptation to blow on it or to shake it or to put it in front of a fan. Or if you're like me and you've got pets wandering around the house, make sure the pets don't lick it or knock it over. Okay, that could change the way it looks. Try to get at least 3 of these, okay? A black one, and then a couple of other colors of your choice. Okay? That's the data for the lab. We will talk next week about how to write up the lab report itself. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. This is Morgan, signing off.